Good morning. Well, welcome back. I guess it's for me. We are somewhere in the Gospel of Mark, though I'm not fully sure where. Let's see here. I've got a white bookmark or a gray bookmark? A white bookmark. There we go. And where on earth? Let's see here. And as many as touched him were made well. I think we did. We finished chapter 6 last time we were together. And so, but we must have made it into chapter 7. Tradition of the elders. Did I not move my bookmark? Yeah. And so we made it through chapter 7. I'm going to have to figure out where we left off. Okay, yeah. So in verse 14, I think, is where we're picking up. We talked about how through tradition that these people were making the word of God of no effect. And that was where we left off, was the idea of this, the washing of hands and the how we do things of no effect. And that's something I think, again, is important. And, it's interesting because, speaking of like traditions, I know I brought up when we were meeting and talking was like communion is something that there's a lot of tradition around. And I even had a phone call from a church member yesterday about communion because people question, is this okay? Is this okay? And I say, well, there's traditions, but the Bible's silent on those specific things. And so it's like, just have the right heart, have reverence, and hey, beyond that, all is good. And so verse 14 now, it says, when he had called all the multitude to himself, he said to them, hear me, everyone, and understand. There is nothing that enters a man from outside which can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are the things that defile a man. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. When he had entered a house away from the crowd, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. So he said to them, are you thus without understanding also? Did you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside cannot defile him, because it does not enter his heart, but his stomach, and is eliminated, thus purifying all foods? And he said, what comes out of a man, that defiles a man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, theft, covetous, wickedness, deceit, lewdness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. There was something I saw that jumped out, and I'm trying to go back and find it as you're going. 19? It's what's coming from within that defiles a man, not what goes into a man. Now, let me give an example. I honestly do dislike picking on any sin in particular because, everyone struggles with different sins. And when they don't struggle with sins, they're struggling with lying. And so the point is, though, is that, when we talk about this, that, or the other, it's what we might take in, because he says it's not which goes into a man that defiles man. He's talking about foods, right? That it's not about these different foods, this ritual washing, but that ultimately the real thing that defiles us comes from within. And you see, I guess I'll pick on a couple sins. But you see, looking at pornography isn't, bear with, the sin. It's the looking with lust that is the sin. Because the taking in of the pornographic images, it's not what defiles the man. It's the fact that there's a lustful heart longing for pornographic images. Might I say, this is like awkward, but I don't care. I don't mind talking about awkward things when it's just trying to help paint the picture of the truth. You know, to look at a naked woman could be sinful, but a gynecologist is doing his job. But you see, two people doing the same action, but one would be sinful and one's not sinful. Where on the other side, taking oxycodone for one person is most definitely sinful because they have an addiction issue. They're trying to self-medicate a problem that's not physical pain, but the other person taking it is fine. In fact, when we talked about medical marijuana in the past, I've said it's like, you know what? Someone's got to stand before God someday, and it's not going to be me. At least I don't think so right now, because I've never smoked marijuana. But the point is that whether or not you smoke marijuana for truly medicinal reasons or not, you'll stand before the Lord, and He knows your heart better than you do. But the catch is this: it's not the smoking of the marijuana that's the sin. It's not even the drunkenness that's the sin. It's the what you're doing. You're longing to drink to become drunk. You're smoking to get high. You're looking at naked images to satisfy your lust. So when Jesus says it's not what enters a man that defiles a man, this kind of shows us how there are actions that could be done by two different people, and it's the same exact action, but one be sinful and one be not. Why? Because one person has the right heart with the right intent, doing something for the right purposes, but the other person from within, it's the sin manifesting itself in this action. And so, I'm trying to think of those things that we take them in. Lots of sins, though, they come out, right? Hearing cursing isn't sinful. Probably not good to hear it on a regular basis if you have the option of abstaining from that. Garbage in, garbage out. But when we say the curse words, that's showing that there's an issue there, huh? There's something within, that there's a problem. And, it's like just realizing again that religious people, Pharisaical people, like what we're dealing with here, literally the Pharisees, they were so concerned on the outward actions that they lost sight of the inward part. Because you can't control the inward part. And so they desperately tried to control all the outward stuff. And then they just left behind the most important thing, the only important thing, the inward part. And so what do we do about the defilement from within? Might I say, if you are trying to stop the defilement from without, you're fighting a losing battle. You see, when I try and fight symptoms all day long, there's something wrong. What do you do if you're breaking out in sores, bad sores that become open wounds, and your treatment is just putting lots of Band-Aids on? No, there's a deeper problem, isn't there? You need to figure out what's causing the sores. There's so many other examples of when all we're doing is treating the symptoms. Chronic headaches, fixed by chronic Tylenol, right? No, something's causing the headaches. Maybe you're eating something that's causing, maybe it's something else. And so, might I say, when we have a defilement within problem, I think if we spent our energy, instead of dealing with symptoms and dealing with putting Band-Aids on and trying to deal with all that, that we would just continue to feed our hearts with God and the good. There's that old John Bunyan saying, "This book will keep me from sin, or sin will keep me from this book." I believe Alex Correa quoted that last Sunday night. here's the thing. That's very true. I love that saying. But you can also reapply that saying in all of the key and core fundamentals of Christian life and maturity. Prayer will keep me from sin, or sin will keep me from prayer. Christian fellowship, i.e. going to church and home fellowships and home groups and that, will keep me from sin, or sin will keep me from wanting to attend those gatherings. You see, the apostles' doctrine, getting in the Bible, the breaking of bread and fellowship, like what we do at my house on Wednesday nights, right? Or multiple nights a week, honestly. The Gillises every other Friday. You've got the Mortensons on Thursdays. You've got the Masons on Tuesdays. And prayer. See, those things will keep you from sin, and sin will keep you from those things. Instead of trying to be better and stop being so, you fill the blank, focus on the positives. Feed your soul, feed your spirit, do your daily devotions, pray, and honestly, the easiest of them all is fellowship. And quite often, that's the one that is also the most neglected, because I can kind of fake it till I make it with my Bible reading and prayer sometimes. Check the box. I skim read my 4 chapters for the day. But fellowship, you're kind of there and around people, and you kind of have to actually engage. So those things will keep you from sin, and sin will keep you from those things. Don't worry so much about the defilement from without. Realize that you have a problem, and it starts from within. And God has given us all things that pertain to life and godliness in his book, and those are the things it points us to. Those simple, basic things that we all know we ought to be doing. So, if you're a local, I'd love to see you on Wednesday. Have some food, throw a frisbee, bocce ball, hang out. Just have a time of fellowship and have fun with your family. So, all right. God bless you guys. Men's Bible study at our church tonight. Youth and Spanish tomorrow. There's always things to go and do. You guys take care. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 7:30 or 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Summer hours. I'm liking the summer hours. They're good for me. God bless, guys.